Before we start, I need a favor. Let me know in the comments what's been done right or wrong. This also helps me create better content for you all. And check out our Creepy Tales playlist. The videos with the most views, likes, and comments will form the channel. And now we begin. Chapter 1. The Desperate Bargain. The knife slides across my palm, and my blood drips onto the ancient symbols carved into grandmother's basement floor. The candlelight flickers as something stirs in the darkness beyond the circle. Something vast and hungry. I offer myself, I whisper to the shadows. My life, my soul, my everything. Just make him love me. The temperature drops 20 degrees in an instant. The candles blow out, but the darkness isn't empty. It's full of eyes. 3 hours earlier, David had looked me in the eyes and said the words that shattered my world. I'm moving to California, Margaret. For the job. It's a great opportunity. What about us? I'd asked, my voice barely a whisper. I think we should take a break. See other people. While I'm gone. He couldn't even meet my gaze. Long distance never works. Never works. 2 years of loving him, of planning our future together, of believing we were meant for each other, and he dismissed it all with 3 words. I love you, I said desperately. David, I love you more than anything. We can make this work. Margaret, please don't make this harder than it has to be. He was already packing, folding shirts into boxes like our relationship was just another item to be stored away. You're a wonderful person. You'll find someone else. Someone else. Like love was interchangeable. Like what we had meant nothing. I watched him pack his entire life into cardboard boxes, erasing every trace of us from his apartment. The photo of our trip to Maine went into a box. The coffee mug I'd given him for his birthday went into a box. Even the plant we'd bought together for his windowsill, our first shared responsibility, he'd called it, got wrapped in newspaper and packed away. When do you leave? I asked. Tomorrow morning. Early flight. Tomorrow. He was leaving tomorrow and he'd waited until tonight to tell me. While I'd been planning our weekend together, maybe bringing up the idea of moving in together, he'd been planning his escape. I drove straight to grandmother's house after that. The old Victorian she'd left me when she died last month. The house I'd been cleaning out slowly, discovering her secrets room by room. Tonight, those secrets felt like the only thing that could save me. In the basement, behind the false wall I'd found last week, grandmother's real library waited. Books bound in leather that felt wrong to touch. Journals filled with her spidery handwriting, documenting decades of contact with things that shouldn't exist. Morgoth answered again today, one entry read. It showed me visions of eternal love, of devotion that transcends death itself. The price seems steep, but what is death compared to losing the one you love? What is humanity compared to forever? She'd been in love once, I realized. Someone who'd left her or died or simply stopped caring. And she'd found a way to change that. To make love permanent. The ritual instructions were detailed, precise. A circle drawn in chalk mixed with graveyard dirt. 13 black candles arranged like a clock face. Words in a language that hurt my throat to pronounce. And blood. Always blood to seal the bargain. I was halfway through the incantations when reality began to fracture. The basement walls stretched upward into infinite darkness. The floor became glass, revealing depths filled with things that moved in patterns that violated geometry. And from those impossible depths, something ancient climbed toward me. Morgoth the Deathless had no true form. It was suggestion and shadow, constantly shifting between shapes that my mind tried desperately to interpret as familiar. Sometimes a figure in funeral shrouds with too many arms. Sometimes a mass of bone and sinew that arranged itself into configurations that shouldn't exist. But always it spoke in voices I knew. Child of abandonment, it said, using David's voice but with harmonics that came from the space between stars. You suffer the greatest human pain. Love unreturned, devotion dismissed. I can change this. How? I whispered. Death is transformation. In dying you will be reborn as something greater. Neither living nor dead but eternal. And with eternity comes power. The power to bind hearts, to make love unbreakable, to ensure devotion lasts forever. The entity showed me visions then. David and I together in a realm beyond mortal understanding, our love preserved like insects in amber. Never changing, never fading, never facing the possibility of goodbye because time itself would have no meaning. He will love you as you love him, Morgoth promised. Completely. Eternally. Without question or doubt. What's the price? Your mortality. Your humanity. Your place in the world of the living. You will serve me, and through that service, you will have what you desire most. I thought of David's boxes packed and ready. Of his early morning flight. Of the way he'd said someone else like I was replaceable. If I did nothing, he would be gone by sunrise, and I would spend the rest of my life wondering what I could have done differently. But if I accepted Morgoth's offer, he'll love me forever? For eternity and beyond. This I promise. The entity reached toward me with appendages that were sometimes tentacles, sometimes arms, sometimes just extensions of the darkness itself. When it touched my forehead, cold flooded through me like liquid nitrogen in my veins. Do you accept, child of abandonment? I thought of tomorrow morning. Of David's empty apartment. Of a future without him. Yes, I said. I accept. The cold spread through my body as my heart stopped beating. The last thing I felt was a terrible understanding washing over me. I had just traded my humanity for the promise of love, and somehow that felt like the most reasonable bargain in the world. Death, I learned, was not an ending. It was a promotion. The bride of death. I wake to the sound of David's alarm clock, though I'm standing in his bedroom and he's 3,000 miles away. The sound isn't coming from any device. It's emanating from my skin, a rhythmic pulse that matches the terror in his sleeping heart. He's dreaming of me. I can taste his fear across the continent like copper pennies on my tongue. Morgoth has kept its promise. I am no longer bound by the limitations of mortality. Distance means nothing. Time moves differently. And David is already beginning to remember what he's lost. The first week after my transformation, I learned the rules of my new existence. My heart no longer beats, but something else pulses in my chest. Something connected to forces that predate human civilization. I don't need food, but I hunger for things that have no names. Sleep is optional, but when I do rest, I dream David's dreams and walk through his memories. Most importantly, I can reach across any distance to touch his mind. David made it to California, got his new job, rented his apartment. For 3 days he went through the motions of his new life, convinced he'd made the right choice. Then the dreams started. In his sleep I show him what we could have been. Visions of us together in landscapes that exist beyond the physical world. Crystalline cities beneath black suns. Libraries containing the histories of dead civilizations. Gardens where flowers bloom with human faces. In these dreams we are eternal, our love a force that shapes reality itself. He wakes each morning more exhausted than the night before, my name on his lips. I know this because I'm there, invisible in the corners of his bedroom, watching him stumble to the bathroom mirror. His reflection shows a man aging rapidly, dark circles under his eyes, skin growing pale, hair losing its luster. The distance from me is killing him slowly, just as Morgoth promised it would. You belong to her now, the entity whispers to me during my waking hours, its voice echoing from every shadow. As she belongs to you. The bond you have forged transcends death itself. He will return, or he will waste away longing for what he cannot name. But David is stubborn. He throws himself into work, tries dating other women, even visits a doctor about his persistent nightmares. Nothing helps. Every night I'm there in his dreams, and every day he grows weaker. 2 weeks after his departure, I decide subtlety isn't working fast enough. I manifest in his apartment at midnight, letting him see me for the first time since my transformation. He's lying in bed, staring at the ceiling when I step out of the shadows by his dresser. "Hello, David," I say, and my voice carries harmonics that make the windows vibrate. He sits up so fast he nearly falls off the bed. "Margaret? How did you?" The door was locked. "Locks are for the living," I tell him, moving closer. In the dim light, I know I look almost normal, same face, same hair, same general shape. But my skin has taken on a luminous quality, like moonlight on water, and when I speak, frost forms in the air around my words. "You look different," he whispers, and I can smell his fear. It's intoxicating. "I am different. I died for you, David. I died for us." "That's impossible. You're standing right here. Death isn't what people think it is. It's a doorway. And I've walked through it to find you." I sit on the edge of his bed, and the mattress doesn't compress under my weight. When I reach for his hand, my touch is cold enough to leave frost marks on his skin. You left me, I continue, but I've found a way to make sure that never happens again. We can be together forever now. Truly forever. David jerks his hand away, scrambling backward against the headboard. Margaret, you're scaring me. What happened to you? I made a deal. With something older than humanity, older than life itself. It gave me what I needed to keep you. Keep me. I don't want to be kept. His rejection stings, but I expected resistance. The living always fear what they don't understand. Look at yourself, I tell him, gesturing toward the mirror across the room. Look what being apart from me is doing to you. You're wasting away, David. Your body knows we belong together even if your mind won't accept it. He looks and I see the moment he realizes I'm right. His reflection shows a man who appears to be dying of some wasting disease. Hollow cheeks, sunken eyes, skin with a grayish pallor. This is your doing, he whispers. This is love, I correct. Pure, eternal, unbreakable love. When two souls are meant to be together, separation becomes a kind of death. I reach into my jacket and pull out a knife, the same one I used to seal my bargain with Morgoth. The blade gleams with an oily, iridescent sheen that suggests it has been touched by things from beyond the stars. I can make this stop, I tell him. I can make you like me. We'll never have to be apart again. We'll never age, never die, never fall out of love because we'll be incapable of change. You want to kill me? I want to free you. From doubt, from fear, from the possibility of loss. In death, David, we'll find a love more perfect than anything the living can imagine. He's off the bed now, backing toward the door. You're insane. This isn't love, Margaret. This is obsession. What's the difference? I ask, standing slowly. When you love someone completely, totally, without reservation, isn't that obsession? Isn't that what love is supposed to be? He reaches for the door handle, but I'm faster. Not faster in the way humans are faster, but faster in the way shadows move when light suddenly disappears. I'm across the room before he can blink, my hand covering his on the handle. Don't run from me again, I whisper. You ran once and look what it drove me to become. If you run again, I'll have to take more drastic measures. What do you mean? I smile and I know he can see that my teeth have changed, sharper now, designed for purposes beyond chewing food. I mean, I'll start visiting the people you care about. Your sister. Your parents. Your new coworkers. I'll show them the same love I want to show you. The color drains from his face. You wouldn't. Love makes us do terrible things, David. And I love you more than I've ever loved anything. More than life itself. More than sanity. More than the distinction between right and wrong. I lean closer, my breath freezing against his ear. Think about my offer. You have until tomorrow night to decide. Join me willingly and we'll spend eternity together in perfect happiness. Refuse. I let the threat hang in the air, unfinished but clear. When I step back into the shadows, I don't disappear gradually like a movie ghost. I simply cease to be there, leaving behind only the scent of grave earth and the echo of my voice. Until tomorrow, my love. David spends the rest of the night sitting in his kitchen with all the lights on, clutching a knife and jumping at every sound. He doesn't sleep, which means he doesn't dream, which means I can't visit him in the peaceful way. So I visit him while he's awake instead, appearing in his peripheral vision for split seconds, standing behind him in mirrors, sitting in the passenger seat of his car, walking past windows 20 stories above the ground. By morning he's a wreck. But he still hasn't said yes. That's when I realize gentle persuasion isn't going to work. It's time to show David what Morgoth's gift really means. Time to demonstrate the kind of love that reshapes reality itself. Time to prove that some bonds are stronger than life, stronger than death, and infinitely stronger than his capacity to resist them. Chapter 3. Eternal Devotion. David's sister Emma stops breathing at exactly 3:17 a.m. Pacific Time. I know because I'm the one who steals the air from her lungs, reaching across dimensions to demonstrate the reach of Morgoth's gift. She'll wake up in 12 hours, gasping and changed, with my voice echoing in her head. Tell David that love cannot be denied. By the time he receives her panicked phone call, I'm already standing in his living room, watching him crumble. You killed her, David whispers into his phone, staring at me with eyes that have aged decades in the past week. Emma's voice is barely coherent through her sobs, describing her death, her resurrection, and the message I planted in her mind. I freed her, I correct, settling into his armchair like I belong there. Just as I'll free you. Just as I'll free everyone you love if you continue to resist. His hands shake as he ends the call. She said she was dead for hours. She said she saw things. Impossible things. She saw a glimpse of our realm. The space between life and death where Morgoth rules. It's beautiful there, David. No pain, no loss, no separation. Only eternal devotion. I stand and move toward him, my feet no longer making sound on the hardwood floor. Behind me, frost spreads across the walls in patterns that spell out words in languages that predate human speech. How many people do I have to touch before you understand? I ask. Your parents? Your co-workers? That barista you smile at every morning? Everyone you've ever cared about will join us eventually. I'm simply offering you the chance to choose the order. David backs against the kitchen counter, grabbing a knife from the magnetic strip. Stay away from me. I laugh and the sound makes his windows crack. Steel can't hurt me anymore, my love. Nothing in your world can hurt me. I exist in the spaces between atoms now, in the pause between heartbeats. To prove my point, I walk straight through his kitchen island, my form rippling like water but maintaining its shape. When I emerge on the other side, I'm close enough to touch his face. Feel how cold I am, I whisper, pressing my palm to his cheek. Ice crystals form instantly on his skin. This is what death feels like. Peaceful. Final. Perfect. He tries to pull away, but my touch has already begun the process. I can see it in his eyes. The gradual understanding that resistance is futile, that I am a force beyond his comprehension or control. Margaret, please. This isn't you. This isn't human. You're right, I agree, smiling with teeth that have become crystalline sharp. I'm something better. Something eternal. And soon you will be too. That's when the apartment begins to change around us. The walls stretch upward into impossible heights, revealing a sky filled with stars arranged in configurations that hurt to look at. The floor becomes transparent, showing the vast realm where Morgoth waits, an endless landscape of bone-white cities and rivers of liquid shadow. Do you see? I ask, gesturing to the cosmic horror unfolding around us. This is where we'll live. Where we'll love. Where time has no meaning and separation is impossible. David's knife clatters to the floor as reality continues to warp. Through the transparent walls, he can see other figures moving in the distance. Couples locked in eternal embraces, their forms shifting between human and something far more ancient. They were like us once, I explain. Lovers who chose eternity over the brief, painful existence of mortality. They understand what you're about to learn, that true love requires sacrifice. The transformation of his apartment accelerates. Furniture dissolves into geometric patterns that rearrange themselves according to non-Euclidean principles. The ceiling opens to reveal Morgoth itself, vast and tentacled and beautiful in its cosmic indifference. The child has brought her offering, the entity speaks, its voice emanating from everywhere at once. The final soul to complete the bond. David falls to his knees as Morgoth's presence fills the space. I kneel beside him, taking his face in my hands. His skin is already beginning to pale, his eyes developing the same luminous quality mine gained after my transformation. It's already started, I tell him softly. The moment I touched you, the change began. You can fight it and suffer, or accept it and find peace. I don't want this, he gasps, but his voice is already changing, developing harmonics that echo from places beyond normal space. Want is irrelevant, I reply. Love is. And I love you enough to damn us both to forever. His body begins to shift, becoming translucent like mine. Through his skin, I can see the cosmic machinery that powers our existence, configurations of energy and void that spell out devotion in the fundamental language of reality. Feel it, I whisper as his transformation continues. Feel how perfect this is. No more uncertainty. No more possibility of loss. Just us, forever, in service to something greater than human understanding. David's resistance finally breaks. I watch the moment it happens. His eyes clear, his breathing stops, and something ancient and eternal takes residence behind his face. Margaret, he says, and his voice now carries the same otherworldly harmonics as mine. I understand now. This isn't death. This is evolution. Yes. I breathe, kissing him as reality dissolves completely around us. This is love. When our lips meet, the last of his humanity burns away. We are no longer Margaret and David, two separate beings struggling with mortal love. We are components of something larger, eternal servants of Morgoth, bound together by forces that reshape the very fabric of existence. The apartment, California, Earth itself fade away. We rise through dimensions beyond counting, hand in hand, our love transformed into something cosmic and terrible and perfect. In the realm where Morgoth rules, surrounded by other couples who made the same choice across centuries and worlds, we finally understand what eternity means. Not endless time, but the absence of time altogether. Not unending love, but love so complete it becomes indistinguishable from worship. We will never leave each other now. We cannot leave each other. We have become a single entity with two faces, devoted not only to each other but to the cosmic force that made our union possible. Behind us, on a world that seems suddenly small and insignificant, David's phone rings. His parents calling to check on him. His sister, desperate to warn him about her strange experience. His co-workers, wondering why he didn't show up for his important presentation. But David no longer exists to answer. Neither does Margaret. We're something new now. Something eternal. Something that exists only to serve Morgoth and to love each other with an intensity that would drive mortal minds to madness. And in the depths of space, in realms where stars are born and die in seconds, our love becomes a beacon that calls to other desperate souls across the cosmos. Others who want what we have found. Others who will make the same bargain. Others who will learn that some forms of love are so powerful they transcend not only death but humanity itself. Now he will love me for eternity. Now we will love each other for eternity. And eternity, we have discovered, is just the beginning. As we leave this couple in their newfound web of love madness, I hope we have satisfied that itch in the back of your brain. Again, check out our Creepy Tales playlist. Like and share and comment if you want more videos like this. Your interactions is the force that creates this channel's direction.